Mom Spaghetti. Greatest truck of all time. But it's a little bit neglected. So in this episode of the Dirthead Shed, I am going to get Mom Spaghetti ready for some winter wheeling and commuting and driving, and just make it more fun to be around. Is a cool truck, but it has a heater in it that smells like mice have been living in it for 20 years, because they probably have been. And the headlights are so dim that you can barely see down the road in front of you, and it gets dark at like 4 o'clock right now. So I gotta work on a couple of those things. I'm gonna swap these tires out because they're so big that they're crashing into the wiring on the driver's side and the heater box on the passenger side. And I want to get this thing out, test it some more, see if it's any good in the snow. So I am breaking down these wheels. They were on the Jeep for a little bit when I first built it, so I'm pulling the 5-lug wheels out, and I'm gonna put those 38s on the Ford. So check this out. I've been working the last 2 nights trying to get the tires dismounted. Came over here to my tire machine, and you can see I had to fabricate this new arm for it last night. This is the old one. This thing really didn't have what it takes to dismount those tires. I guess those grip lock things actually work, because I destroyed this tire machine. I really dig these tires. They work so good for rock crawling and stuff. I just gotta try other things and see if I can make those Patagonias work in the snow. There. Get on there. They aren't light. Alright, wheels are on. I can check that box and get on to the lights and the heater box, and whatever else I can get done before we go wheeling in a few days. Here's my last lug nut. They're in there. I think next thing I'm gonna mess with is this. I just kind of have all my stuff floating around in the bed of the truck, but like 2 years ago I got this box that I was supposed to mount, and I never did. So I think it's time to throw that in there. That'll keep all of this stuff out of the elements, hopefully. Oh man. Alright, I'm back in the shop this morning, and I got this done. Toolbox, storage box is mounted, spare is strapped back down. I even added a couple more hooks in here for tying stuff down. Because you can't ever have enough spots to tie down to, especially when you got a truck bed with giant holes in it. So I think we're doing pretty good. Wheels and tires are done. Storage is done. Now it's time to move on to the headlights, I think. All right, Mom Spaghetti's getting a big upgrade. I'm putting good new headlights in it. These are Holley Retro Brite lights. They look like old halogens, but they are new LEDs. They are going in place of the old GEs that were in here. It's always been super dim. I pretty much have to drive around with my high beams on if I'm on any of the back roads. So hopefully these new lights will be quite a bit brighter and look cool and vintage like those. All right, there's the stock headlight. There's the retro brite. Those things are gnarly. That's a pretty big difference. Very yellow, very bright white. Headlights are in, grill's back together. I think it's good to go. Now I gotta worry about this heater. So that's the heater box out here on the firewall. Actually, it's a blower motor box, but yeah, that's what I gotta figure out. Tire's gonna get into that thing if I put anything bigger than these 38s on it. And it's always smelled like mice are living in it, and it blows like mouse nest all over the place when I turn the defroster on. All right, no more screwing around. I gotta do what I should have done forever ago. Right there, mouse nest right on the floor. It blows out of the heater duct in here. Yeah, it's always blowing mouse nest on me, and it's nasty and it smells terrible. So it's time to figure this out. I can't have a winter wheeler if I can't use my heater. Oh, this is gonna be gross. Alright, and big pry bar here. Ugh. Let me get my phone out of the way because that is disgusting. Alright, here we go. Ugh, nasty. No wonder it smells so bad. Oh God, it's gross. All right, let's see what we got here. This is the blower motor, which is in the engine bay. That's not too bad. Let's see what it looks like from here. Oh yeah. Ugh, it's just packed full. That's all poop. That's all mouse poop. No wonder this thing smelled so bad. Ugh. Alright, I am gonna just delete this whole thing. It's gross. There's a few things I don't really know how it's gonna work out, like this wiring harness that's going through there. But I won't know until I start getting it out of there. Gross. I'm really not in the business of restoring old trucks. Nasty. Oh, that's gross. There's the problem. Get out of there. Ew. Ugh. Ew. That's so bad. I don't know why I thought this was going to go smooth and easy, but I kind of underestimated it. Even though I've been putting this job off for like a year, I kind of went into it today thinking maybe it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. But nope, it snowballed. It's a big deal. I'm taking out my welder right now and my race radio, getting this bracket out of the way. Behind that is more heater core and heater box stuff. Hopefully I can make enough space in just this area to put the whole new heater system, but if not, then I'll probably have to like take out a portion of this center chunk here where the old heater core or heater controls and radio were. This is kind of a pain in the butt. Maybe once I'm done with this, my kid won't call this the rat truck anymore. That's always a little embarrassing. Oh geez, there it goes. Alright, there's the welder and the race radio safely on the floor. And now it's time to get all this stuff out. This is right behind where the heater core is, and then on the other side of this is where the blend door is. So I've got to just kind of get all this stuff out of here and make room for the new heater box. I'm sure there is a better way to do this, but I don't know that way. There was a wiring harness up on top of this little duct. There we go. Oh, there was a wire hook to that. All right, I'm back in the shop. Many showers later. I was totally grossed out by the mouse poop, just nastiness of it. So I came back in here. I finished yanking the rest of that heater box out. I've got a clean firewall to work with. Basically, it's time to start figuring out the heater for it. This is what I'm going to use. This is a Mardine universal heater. You can buy these on Amazon, and you can buy these through like Jags and Summit. Kind of basic. They're made for going in like a tractor or skid steer or whatever. Just something to put some heat in the cab. They've got some vents on them so that you can direct heat down towards your feet, and then they got a couple of plugs on them that you can put some ductwork on and get heat up to your dash. I'm gonna mount this thing in there and see what it tells me to do. My buddy Mark gave me this. He bought it, I think, at a yard sale or something and never used it. I said, I'll put it in something if you don't want it. So thanks, Mark. I'm gonna put this thing in Mom's spaghetti. And hopefully it keeps me warm and doesn't smell like pee and other nastiness. I mounted the heater box to the firewall and have like part of it gone through, but I've got those big giant holes left over from the old stuff, so I'm making some filler panels out of aluminum. This is like 1/8 inch thick aluminum. I figured I would show you my trick for cutting this stuff clean. It's really simple, and it's something you probably already have at home. If you're making straight cuts on aluminum, just use your skill saw. This one, I don't even have a special blade in it. I'm just running the same like kind of rough blade that I use for cutting wood and everything else. Get this over here. Get this. Butter. Super clean. Just like a quick little file, and the edges are perfect. Figured I'd show you a little trick here. That heater core has 3 studs on it, and I need it to sort of space off the firewall and kind of seal against it. So I'm making some rubber washers out of an old mud flap. This is either a mud flap or floor mat or something, but either way, Pulsa mud flap instant rubber washers. Those are going on those studs just so that we can space this thing off the firewall a little bit, because there's a lip here, so it's got to kind of space back just a tiny bit, but it's all coming together. There we go. Heater core is bolted in and the pipes are coming through, so I just got to figure out which one of these old heater lines needs to be the inlet and which one needs to be the outlet. Sweet. I'll fill that hole, get rid of that problem, and figure out wiring. All right, there we go. Switch panels in place, wiring's in place for the toggle switch. That'll end up powering a high and a low on that fan, and that cigarette lighter goes to the factory wiring, so that should be fine for charging my phone and whatever else I need to power up in here. So I'm gonna put this thing all back together. I think I'll make a little block off plate for the radio opening so it looks decent when we're done, and then test this thing out. I just wanted to give you a quick comparison on what the underside of this dash looks like now compared to when we started. This is amazing. The heater is in there. It might not crank out the perfect amount of heat, and it's just blowing on your feet at this point, but it does have those little side ports, and right up in here is like a square spot that I can make a little adapter. If I can get that to hook up to those little round ports on the sides there, then I'll have defrost, which will be cool. But for right now, that is good enough, and it's so much better than it was. All right, I'm gonna put the rest of that stuff together, and then it's time to fire this puppy up and test drive it and see if it's gonna be good. Tomorrow we ride. All right, I'm waiting on the boys to get here. I just want to show you what I'm carrying today. Spare gas. I've got an extra air compressor, shovel, worn recovery kit, my bag with stuff to repair tires, my fluids box with a few tie downs and a fire extinguisher, another recovery kit that's got like a bubber rope in it, I believe, race radio stuff, hand tools, more hand tools, and I believe this is my electrical bag. So hopefully enough stuff to get me out of a pinch if we get into a pinch. I've also got a bunch of warm clothes and what else? Stuff to charge everything, some hot hands, some extra clothes, lighter, etc. So should be pretty prepared. Oh yeah, and some water and fruit. All right, truck is out of the shop. I'm out of here. I'll clean up that mess later. We're totally in the dirt. Mom spaghetti in. I got cameraman Cameron. Hello. Over here on the wheels of steel. I'm driving this daisy train. Yeah, we're gonna go find some snow. We haven't found it yet, but we'll get there.